Almost every day, we see articles of corrupt officials, government officials, or politicians being caught in the act of taking a bribe. And one of the government bodies that is empowered to investigate and catch corrupt officials is Lokayukta. So you might be familiar with the headlines like Lokayukta raids of official of the BBMP or BESCOM or one of these government bodies, and the official was caught accepting a bribe of 3 lakhs, 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, or Lokayukta raids the homes of certain officials and lakhs of rupees or crores of rupees got. And like many of us, I would gleefully read about such acts of corruption being unearthed and caught, and these videos of these corrupt officials in chains, along with millions of rupees, crores of rupees, or kgs of gold and silver, troves of them caught. And I would upload these videos and think in government departments seems to be so ingrained, so steeped in the system that we take it for granted. And that is where these officials play a cat and mouse game with the ombudsman, the investigators like Lokayukta. Lokayukta conducts raids, and then things die down for a bit, and then of course these acts of corruption continue. Now, for laymen, people like us, it's just a game. We just see it and shrug our shoulders. I have been at the receiving end of nepotism and corruption for an issue that I've been facing for a while. And I talked about it in my earlier video about a parcel of land that my dad had acquired years ago and had been running from pillar to post to get the documents cleared by officials of the revenue department. And since then, I took matters into my hand, went to the High Court a couple of times, got favorable orders from the High Court and orders from the Deputy Commissioner. And despite that, the officials of the Tahsildar, that is the official of the Land Records Department in Yelahanka, refused to act on it, giving some frivolous reasons or not simply acting on it. So finally, at the wit's end, I decided to file a complaint with the Lokayukta. So I thought I'll share my experiences in this video. So what I did is I went to the website of the Lokayukta and looked up the details. Lokayukta in Karnataka, like in many states across India, is the state's ombudsman. They are empowered to investigate acts of corruption and bribery. So if you look at the website, it's pretty clear, right? It explains the role of the Lokayukta, the powers, and how they're empowered to investigate officials under this act. And the Lokayukta is a judicial body, independent of the government and officials, and supposed to act very independently to investigate these cases. And they generally investigate cases of bribes, nepotism, and the process of filing a complaint is pretty straightforward, but one needs to go through a few steps. So I went through the website, got a copy of the complaint form, and it explained the steps. Pretty simple, pretty clear. I filled in the details. We are supposed to fill duplicate of the complaints. So I went into quite some details. Since I had a lot more details to substantiate, to add to my case, I attached all the relevant documents in a sequence and created a chronology, like an index of a table of the sequence of events and how I had been failed by the officials. I attached all the relevant documents of the land records and the court orders and the orders from the Deputy Commissioner and submitted it to the office of the Lokayukta. And this was more than 6 months ago. My complaint was received on the 13th of September. And I was told I could look up the details online on their website. The website, again, once you have a case ID, case detail, you can start looking up the details of your case on this. So if you see here, my complaint was received on the 13th of September. And subsequent to that, a legal advisor of mine told that I could go and meet the Lokayukta directly and explain my situation. So I decided to visit the office. And the office of the Lokayukta is like any typical government office. The office is adjacent to Vidhan Sabha. So it's a huge office with about 200, 300 staff members. You have the Lokayukta, the two Upa Lokayuktas, and their supporting staff, and the registrars. So I tried to make an appointment to meet the Upa Lokayukta, and the secretary to the Lokayukta, another judge, explained that I couldn't directly meet, but I could meet the case officer, the additional registrar of inquiries in charge of my case, the ARE 80, copy, and told me to wait. So I waited for about half an hour, while the ARE went through my case and then called me inside the office. I explained my situation. So the ARE then explained, yes, a summons would be issued to the Tahsildar, who would be called to come and explain the situation. So I would have to wait. So I went back and started looking at the case status. A summons was issued to the Tahsildar. He did appear before the Lokayukta on the 26th of November. And then subsequently, the status in the website changed. It said the opinion report of the concerned officer, that is this ARE, I think was sought by the Lokayukta on the 20th of December. And then I think it was adjourned. Again, it showed the status of the concerned officer was expected to be received by the 26th of March. So a few months went by. And then the status changed and said a call for rejoinder from the complainant, that is me, was expected. So a week ago, I received a packet from the office of the Lokayukta. The packet contained a letter asking me to send my inputs based on the documents and supporting records received from the respondent, which in this case was the Deputy Commissioner and the Tahsildar. It was pretty detailed, and I went through it, spent a few hours reviewing it point by point, that the officials had inundated the Lokayukta with a huge trove of documents that were meaningless. They were trying to obscure the facts. Typical case of if you cannot convince them, confuse them. That is what was really happening. And in my case, I went through these responses and point by point refuted it. Again, I was expected to reply in duplicate. So I printed 3 copies of my response along with a few documents substantiating my case. Went back to the office of the Lokayukta did my responses. So fingers crossed, let them review it, let us see how it goes. So unlike what you see in the papers or in the articles, the office of the Lokayukta does have teeth, does act on cases, but it is slow. It is a bureaucracy in itself. So you got to be patient, see how things work out. And fingers crossed, I'm hoping that this office finally, gets the officials to act on my case according to the law and about my case or about filing a complaint with Lokayukta. Feel free to review the website. It is pretty detailed, has all the details. And do add your comments with your experiences or ping me and we can share our experiences.